So apparently you're ugly. Let's talk about it. Life throws us so many disadvantages that we literally have no control over. Whether we want to talk socioeconomically, whether we want to talk physically, which in reality, those two are the same thing. Let us look at life from a Buddhist or zoomed out perspective, I would say. The wheel of samsara. The same thing that makes a woman want to have sex with you is the same thing that makes a boss want to hire you. What does that mean? That means the world runs on sexual energy. That means that the social dominance hierarchy that is imprinted in your nervous system as you are half animal is exactly what negates your sensitivity to all your emotions, is literally what allows certain thoughts to inhabit your vessel at certain moments that you have no control over. All negated by where you fit on the hierarchy of social dominance. All negated by how desirable you are to a mate. There's something in psychology called the halo effect. A man who is attractive versus a man who is obviously not is going to be assumed and perceived to be a more well-rounded individual than the man who is just automatically not attractive. So you see one in a lab coat and the other in a lab coat. The other one who looks chiseled looks like he has more capabilities in general. Looks like he has a higher IQ. We attribute higher IQ, higher capability to people who are automatically more beautiful, so to speak, off rip. Within the first 0.5 seconds, we've already judged somebody, even if we know it or not. That just is what it is. And these things are rooted in our baseline physiology as human beings. We have no control over this shit. We could be hella wrong, but at the end of the day, it's there for a reason. Let's talk about it. Beauty is not subjective. No matter how many people want to convince themselves that it is, this is not the case. It is observable. It is obvious. Just because people begin virtue signaling for your specific hindrance physically does not mean that beauty all of a sudden became subjective. Okay, let's look throughout the course of history. What did people renowned beauty in the face to be a specific symmetric look? Especially throughout Caucasian history, this has been the case. But regardless, beauty has always been well renowned, and there straight up is a standard for it. Go to high school. You're a woman, you're in high school. I'm sure plenty of women watching the channel have had to deal with this. Even men too. You have that glow up to where all of a sudden your features become more enhanced. You are treated differently by everyone, including teachers, and it's not even their fucking fault. Because they are unaware of the fact that this social dominance hierarchy, negated by our desirable attributes to mates, is the thing that leads in conversation. Again, 0.5 seconds of judging somebody. These are the reasons you have judged them, is because your most authentic desire deep down is to have a mate and have a child, to procreate. That's your most divine and authentic desire, and there is literally nothing wrong with that. Okay? Granted, if you keep being led and drawn by these desires throughout your entire life, you're going to be down the, what Buddhists would call the wheel of samsara, the hedonic treadmill. Obviously, if you're fucking led by your desires, you're not going to have a good life. The whole point of any religious life, the whole point in contributing to anything above yourself in life, or getting yourself to the point where you can actually sustain that family, is by transmuting those lower level desires into something higher, something that will actually help you and those around you cultivate a better quality of life, rather than being a victim to life's desires and stuck in a consistent loop of pain and suffering. It's insane that the low IQ people in society are less likely to use contraceptives, therefore more likely to have babies. We are putting out dumber and dumber people from the get-go who are less and less aware of these, how can I put it? They're less aware of these desires. They're less aware of the fact that they can separate themselves from them. They're less aware of their higher divinity in their DNA, to the point where people keep getting bred more and more that have less and less divinity in their DNA over time, to the point where humans are becoming animals through evolution, de-evolving from our own divinity. That's absolutely insane. And that is because we are negated by this sexual energy everywhere that we go. So how does that come into play with the fact that People who are perceived to be more beautiful are also perceived to be more intelligent, yet dumber people are having babies. Because is someone going to have babies with someone who's perceived to be less intelligent? Are ugly people just fucked out here? No, because ugly people be making babies left and right every day. So it's obvious that people date at their rank, but the question is, are the better looking people remaining the most intelligent? I don't believe that that's the case. I've seen plenty of good looking individuals throughout my life who have been the least aware of all of the people that I have met. So truly, I do believe these baseline primitive things to be a trap. Something to keep you in something that's a lie. Perceiving a person to have lower intelligence because they are less good looking is legitimately retarded. Perceiving them to be less, but is it though? Because how much can you really control that you look? At the end of the day, life puts us in these scenarios to where we look in the mirror and we feel less efficient than the people around us, so it causes us to act less efficient throughout our day-to-day lives. A lot of the ugly people you see, so to speak, are the same people who have bad posture and don't take care of themselves simply because they aren't incentivized to, because they feel like they're not even going to get a mate in the first place, so what the hell is the point of trying? But the problem is, you can't be an incel and make it in society. So what does the question then become? If everyone ends up taking care of themselves to the max level that they can, are they bound to attract somebody? To be so honest with you, I really think so. And I really think if you look at this from a quantum lens, the way that you actually attribute meaning into your life without being a victim to this wheel and being negated by your desires and staying in lower vibrational emotions, being negated by these having your emotions be negated by the social dominance hierarchy that's primitive and built within your nervous system. No, when we become aware of these things, we can actually begin to help ourselves on the level of which we can observe with our intelligence that it is proper for us. It's going to make us a better person instead of looking at everybody else in life like our main competition, because we do not live on an even playing field. By what metric is the question? At the end of the day, you got to understand what you're seeing in front of you is an illusion. It's meant to be that way to keep you in the trap, to test you, to see how divine you truly are. How are you going to treat somebody based on their looks? Now, granted, I'm not going to get with somebody who I perceive to be out of my league unless I have that spirit and soul connection. But at the end of the day, you probably won't even see me getting in deep conversation with somebody who I'm not already attracted to. So people date at their level, and that is what it is, and probably is going to remain how it's going to be till the end and since the dawn of time. But that doesn't change our intelligence, and our ability to thrive together is quantum. It has limitless potential within every human being that you see. Every human being is made in the image of God, and I truly do believe that with everything in my soul. If you don't, I don't know what agenda you're working for here. Everyone has potential stored within them, the same potential to commit the evils and all the beauty that you have the potential of committing. If you look at life yourself, you think that you're ugly. When you start flipping the lens, you can say, what can I do to improve myself to the best of my capability at this moment now without having to feel like a victim to life? Because what are you going to end up doing if you feel like a victim to life? You're going to end up making yourself look uglier than you ever were. You know how many dudes who I see walking around who could be 10s, but think that something's wrong with them, whether it be physical or mental, so they don't take care of themselves? Do you know how many people I see with limitless potential to not only be a completely well-rounded and attractive person who just are throwing it away every single day because society has convinced them that they are something less than they actually are, which is a divine beacon of light? Bro, the whole thing is a test. Perhaps you incarnated into this specific version of yourself for a freaking purpose that you're not aware of yet. Perhaps you signed the contract to look the way that you do. Whether you be ugly, whether you be the most attractive dude in the room, it does not matter, because the attractive people have the same shit to deal with too. What, are you going to live your life stuck in an ego, believing that you're better than others? It's so much easier to do that when you're an attractive dude. Look, I'm not going to sit here and be pretentious, but I never had a problem getting women. So what did that lead me to do? Be a piece of shit. Put myself above others, as many options as I could get. As many opportunities as I could get, I was putting myself above others. My ego led me. My pride, I was so deceived by. My dad had the same issue too. Perhaps this is bloodline. And dude, think about it like this. Holy shit, new perspective, zoom the fuck out. Whatever you look like is your bloodline, and whatever you look like it definitely has something to do with the issues that you're struggling and facing in your day-to-day life. You don't look that different from your parents, most likely. So what does that mean? They have the same issues. You are bearing the weight of the issue. Why are you letting life put you down and make you think you are less than what you are and always were, just because of some perceptions? Some thwarted people's perceptions, when in reality your imagination goes above all of this shit. And that's the whole point that God is trying to tell you. And you don't even have to use imagination to zero out, submit to emptiness, aka submitting to God and saying, how can I put it, bro? Renouncing this world. These emotions aren't you. There's nothing new under the sun, not even the makeup of your flesh. Granted, you're a unique individual. This is, I guess, your first time being here as the ego, but these elements are the same. These emotions are the same. This energy cannot be created nor destroyed. You are a manifestation of eternal life experiencing itself in a temporary existence. So are you going to spend that temporary existence putting yourself below or above others like a damn fool? You're going to have a trickster freaking jester staring back at you in the mirror because of how much you're playing yourself without even realizing it. That's an unconscious force, an archetype manifesting from the collective unconscious that's going to sit there and stare right back at you when you actually decide to confront yourself. Because when you spend so long allowing these lower forces to inhabit your vessel and make you think that that is who you are, dude, a lower force can drive a thought. A thought equals a vibration and a frequency, and whatever frequency you're sitting on and living on are the thoughts that are going to inhabit your vessel. So if you're living low, you're thinking low, you're feeling low, you look low. Period, bro. So letting these lower vibrational energies inhabit your vessel at a constant is going to keep you in a perpetual state of unawareness to where you can't even experience the full thrill and joys of life because you are stuck in a state of numbing yourself. But two, stop you from seeing the divinity that you had within you all along. Sincerely go out and do what you can do for yourself. And if that involves making yourself more desirable for a mate one day, there's nothing wrong with that, bro. I mean, what is desirable for a mate as a man? You are able to protect, provide, aka everything that you would do to make yourself desirable for a mate would just be things that you're doing to make yourself desirable for yourself, because your mate is just an opposite reflection of you. The aka you inhabit the feminine in your mind just as your physical body inhabits the masculine. You have feminine tendencies, you have masculine tendencies, you have both of them. So you can look at yourself from the feminine perspective. Would I date myself? And you're really thinking about that, looking at yourself. You're not going to be comfortable sitting with yourself if you can't answer yes to that question. Ooh, if you can't answer yes to would I date myself, you're not going to sit comfortable with yourself ever. And you're always going to be looking for mediums of distractions until you actually begin to do the work necessary to become someone you would fucking date. To become someone you are attracted to. Damn. Your observer's always trying to exert itself, yet your ego's got fortification. And your ego likes to tell you and convince you that it's the observer. In reality, it's just hating itself and doing actions that perpetuate that cycle. That's fucked, but it's the truth. So what are you gonna do? Bro, I've been sitting out here practicing gymnastics, and I've never done that shit in my life. And I'm getting so much better at it than I ever thought I could, and I actually feel good about myself when I do it. Did you know that it's scientifically proven that there is no positive emotion without a goal? It's that simple. So that's why we get caught in these temporary goals of video games, loops, eating, fucking binging, fucking getting primitive needs satisfied, waking up fucking anxious as fuck, and then getting these little tiny vices throughout people, throughout items, throughout school, throughout books, throughout whatever your escapes are that are stopping you from facing your damn self. First of all, the reason you're afraid to talk to a person, a mate, the reason you're afraid to talk to her is because you're afraid to talk to yourself. So let's get that so clear out of the way right now. You are never going to come up and display yourself with true confidence without competence. Otherwise, your confidence is flawed and you're just a narcissist who is eventually going to sabotage themselves, therefore sabotage their partner if they end up in a relationship with them. And in narcissism is your ego trying to take over, when in reality you know you're not sufficient to be in this conversation because you probably just jacked off yesterday. So what are you doing talking to this girl? You literally hate yourself right now. You're in shame and you haven't even confronted it yet. So no wonder those temporary moments of boosts of confidence make you feel like the man, and then you go and exert yourself in your plan, but then you just end up getting yourself fucked up. You just end up putting yourself in so many situations that you literally can't get out of because it wasn't even you that was doing it. It was an unconscious part of your ego that wanted so badly to present itself to the world and be seen and given attention and compassion to, yet you never gave it compassion because you're too afraid to give it compassion. So what did it try to do? It tried to display itself to the world, and when it displayed itself to the world, it got fucking hurt and put down because it's a flawed perception that you are projecting onto people. Humble yourself, man. You're nobody in this flesh. It's gonna die and wither away one day. You are so above what you think this is, and the only way you can actually begin to see that is by humbling yourself and realizing you were made in the image of God. To humble yourself is to treat yourself with care. People don't tell you that. They just be like, humble yourself so you can treat people better. No, you're only gonna end up treating people better because you actually started having respect for yourself. To humble yourself is to give yourself the ultimate self-respect. Because who are you to exert yourself over yourself? AKA who you think you are over what you always were or could have been. You're limiting your potential every time you put yourself in this box. And you put yourself in this box with all the negative self-talk that you don't want to confront. And then you let these little moments of your ego exert them, project themselves. You go on that little stunt and you put yourself in so many fucked up situations that just get you hurt and hurt and hurt over again. Because that false competence is nothing. It ain't gonna get you nowhere except reaping the seeds that you, reaping the reward that you just sowed. Reaping what you just sowed. You're not gonna get nothing but that exact plant from that seed. And that is a fucking nasty, rotten plant that needs love, it needs care and compassion, but it's become fermented and nobody wants to even be around it. So hop out of these mind states. They are not you. You can separate yourself from them. Cultivating awareness, actually become the observer instead of letting yourself believe that your ego is that. The part of you that hates yourself. The part of you that hates yourself is not the observer. Let's just keep that fucking clear and simple. No matter how much fucked up shit you've done, the part of you that hates yourself is not the observer. Okay? That's a flawed thought coming from a low vibration because of who you think you are in this reality. So, you're not gonna sit with yourself if you can't date yourself. That's great. We covered the halo effect. And what was the third thing that I wanted to cover for this video? Fuck it. Let's just talk about what it means to be a man and cultivate that. Bro, I don't care what you look like or how fucked up you think life has made you. You have an obligation to be there for yourself so you can be there for someone else. Oh yeah, this is what it was. A man doesn't fall in love with a woman because that is gonna keep him always chasing. No, a man falls in love with God and protects his fucking tribe. And it's really as simple as that. A man falls in love with God and righteousness, and then that righteousness actually begins to manifest itself in his life, because you attract what you are, not your intentions. So until you've actually been able to clear all that bullshit out of yourself to where you are walking from that righteous place as much as you fucking can, because we are bound to fall to flesh, but as much as you fucking can, until you are actually at that place, you're not going to attract the person who is and who you always wanted to be with, and you're always going to be stuck in this cycle just like your parents were, of divorces and fucking bullshit. 70% divorce rate in this society. Okay, go ahead and listen to them. Go ahead and go to school and listen to the fucking people around you. Bro, I'm not saying I'm been in this long ass marriage. I'm learning. We're all learning. But open your mind up to greater perspectives, because we ain't doing it right. And look what we're missing the most out of anything. God. Humbling ourselves under the canopy of the Most High. Amen. Hallelujah. Look, whatever way you want to put it, whatever words you want to attribute those titles, humbling yourself, knowing there's a power above you that helps you through this life and guides you along the righteous path, and isn't going to be there for you when you're not on that righteous path. Why? Because you're literally expressing the opposite of life, because that's all that death is. So how can God be where death is? No, it's just God is life. You get what I'm saying? Big ass truck. And at the end of the day, look, you get what I'm saying. God is a manifestation of life. If I'm going to be here living, I'm going to focus on being alive. Period. And when you're contributing to death, you're contributing to degeneration and being degenerate rather than being generative and actually doing things that heighten your spirit and what? Quality of life. So we're not even going to get into that whole God and devil conversation. That's fucking retarded. Okay, we're teaching you how to give the best. We're teaching you how to cultivate the best quality of life possible. And I know you want a mate, dude. I wonder what that was that I just picked up and threw off my back. That was crazy. These bugs fly out here. I get hornets flying around me all the time when I meditate, and they don't fuck with me at all. We are one with nature. So stop walking on such a hateful, low vibration. Maybe you'll stop getting attacked by bugs. But sincerely, bro, you're either repelling or attracting the woman you always wanted. There really is no in between. Because you attract what you are. And the woman you always wanted can see a bit clearly. You don't just want a robot. So what does that mean if she can see clearly? She's in the spirit. She knows you for what you are. She sees your iniquities, bro. You can't hide for long, because you're going to be constantly projecting them through your self-sabotage unless you humble yourself under God. Fall in love with God before you ever care about being with a woman. And it's hard to do. It's the trap that we get caught in every day as men. I understand. I am you, brother. Trust me. I was a fucking slave to lust my entire life. I know that comes from my bloodline, but I will take ownership and responsibility, because I did things that hurt people because of that desire that inhibited my vessel. And I, every day, no. I've really cleared up that karma. I don't dwell and suffer in these things, but deep down in me, I know I have to bear responsibility for those people that I hurt, because they didn't deserve it, and I didn't deserve it, they didn't deserve it. And if I can be a person to contribute to a lighter side of that trauma, I'm gonna do that. Because not only was I so traumatized, I went out here perpetuating it because of my lack of awareness. And that's what you're gonna continue doing if you're trying to seek a mate without cultivating love within yourself first. Okay, if you've been in a relationship and you got your heart broken, let's talk about that for a second. Bro, she is not what you're missing. She was a gateway to the love that's already within you. She was the gateway to the love that's already within you. For some of us, for most of us, she showed you the love that was already within you, and you hadn't even seen it before, gang. But guess what? It was always in you. Because as within, so without. She can't evoke something in you that wasn't already there from the get-go. So what do we need to do? We need to let this grieving process go by. And in a few weeks' time, if we cultivate the spirit, get close to it, get near it, we will have that passing moment where we feel the exact same love that person let us feel without even the need for them there. And that's truly letting go. And that's truly letting flow. And that's seeing that God can give you and did give you everything you ever needed in this moment now. So why spend your time searching, clinging, trying so hard when you're already in heaven or on the other side of it, however you want to put it? It's all a matter of perspective. When you cultivate awareness, you can see above these things in life that are trying so hard to capture you and keep you in that cycle that your bloodline was so thwarted by. But that's not your destiny, chosen one. So thank you for watching this long. I appreciate you. I hope we can get along. Leave a comment, your opinion. I actually appreciate when people do it. Leave long, extensive comments of your opinion. You know why? Because I'll make videos about them. I'm looking for more content and context, and I actually like to reach out and connect with people. Hit me up on Instagram. I will respond, at least at this point in my career. And I mean, if you don't hit me with substance, I'm gonna leave you in the request, bro. Like, hit me with something. If you're on my same page, you get what I mean? Or ask me some advice. Not advice, connection. Seriously, I'm the soul doctor. I'll patch you up. If you need, and all glory belongs to God, if you need advice about some certain shit and it's really getting at you, provide me some detail. Maybe we'll hop on a phone call. I haven't started making people pay for that shit. I don't even think I'm gonna, unless it's a thing where, time will tell. But right now, I just enjoy giving my time. I really, really do, because it gives me back a lot of fulfillment. And that's another thing too, bro. Cultivate practices that are actually above yourself, and stop being so damn selfish to let yourself be inhibited by these lower things that keep you in this cycle of thinking that you're never going to be okay without a mate. You have to get yourself to a point where you are okay with or without that mate. And that is what falling in love with God is before you care about being with someone else. Hit me up. DMs are open. Soul Dr. Rain Cordio. Finna be out this bitch. I love making these videos. Start doing it. It's really fun. I encourage y'all to start talking, because we need it. We're here to raise the collective conscious, at least in this lifetime. Amen. Ooh. Hallelujah. I love you, Jehovah Elohim. Sincerely leave a comment and tell me what you think. I'll probably make a video about it.